Hi, and welcome to this edition of Psychology for Life with me, Dr. Sandi Mann. Psychology for Life looks at how the application of psychology can help us in everyday life. About a year ago, I decided to take up swimming, but the plan didn't go too swimmingly at first. The problem was that I kept getting ill afterwards, like a day or two after swimming, and I began to think that swimming wasn't that good for me. And I was going to stop, but then I wondered if I was falling for that little known effect that humans sometimes fall for, called the confirmation or correlation bias. This is where we associate two things together that actually aren't associated or correlated at all. It's a basic human bias. For example, I've got a friend who, every time his favourite football team play, has to wear a certain jumper. This is because he's learnt to associate him wearing that jumper with his team winning, because it happened a couple of times that he wore the jumper that his team won. So he associated one event with another, when in actual fact, it's highly unlikely that him wearing a particular jumper is going to have any impact at all on how well his team does. But he's fallen for the correlation bias. Another example, my son developed appendicitis and had to be rushed to hospital. The last thing he ate before he developed appendicitis was something called chicken zingers at school. No idea what they are, but he now associates chicken zingers with getting appendicitis. Now, the chances of that one event, the chicken zingers, being associated or correlated with the appendicitis is very small. But the chances of that event, chicken zingers, being associated with my son getting appendicitis again is actually zero, given that he doesn't have an appendix anymore. So he's fallen for the correlation bias. This is also why people with OCD can sometimes develop it. They learn that if they don't actually touch that door handle 7 times, something terrible is going to happen. But in actual fact, of course, there is no correlation or association between one event, touching the door handle, and another, terrible events happening. So it's the basis of superstition, OCD, and all sorts of behaviour where we've got the illusion of correlating one event to another. So I decided to be brave and to go back swimming just to test out this hypothesis that perhaps I was falling for the correlation bias. Carried on swimming, and guess what? I've been swimming now for over a year, 2 or 3 times a week, and generally I don't get ill after swimming. So I've learnt that I was falling for that correlation bias. So it's fair to say that now that I've overcome that bias, my exercise regime is going swimmingly.